Weird. I do not know why it's doing that. Sorry.
Weird. I did it again. Same thing. So ended the meeting.
Yeah, that time I'm not doing anything. So I know I didn't accidentally push the end button. So
Okay.
just seemed like a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, everybody got kicked off.
It's
Yeah.
my normal experience with computers.
Diane, you are not alone. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so it happened to everyone.
Yeah, it's we got to be thankful that such an amazing technology exists, and it's shooting all this information to space and then shooting it back to all of us. But I guess there's bound to be a hiccup or two as but yes, I was worried I'd pushed the end button, but that second time I literally wasn't touching anything, so I know I didn't do anything. So we'll hope for the best. We'll hope it keeps going.
Hey,
Hopefully it is recording again. Great.
It wasn't me. That's the important thing.
Let's go ahead and jump over and do a couple more quick reviews.
Michael,
Yes.
is that my computer, my MacBook, or it said host ended meeting? Is that a fact? Or is that my computer?
No, I don't know exactly. Unless whoever the first person that signed in had become the host. I don't know who showed up first, but
Okay.
hopefully I'm in charge now.
Okay. Yay.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Is everybody seeing the glowing color and
yep,
Yes.
spotlight it there so it stays? All right. So Linda, this is yours here. Oh boy.
I need to bring this down.
There we go. Just don't double click it, just single click.
Mm.
All right, Linda, are you there? Be able to join us back again? Hopefully I didn't lose too many people with that crazy. All right, I'm going to give Linda a couple minutes to get back on. What time is it? 9:45. Okay, good. We still got some time here. All right, Carol, are you here?
Technology.
Yes, always the trials and tribulations.
Third world problem. First world problem.
All right. Carol, are you here? No, I don't see Carol. Let's.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, who? Michelle?
I'm Carol
Oh, there you
Devereaux.
are. Great. All right, great. Let's talk about yours. Let's start with the high chroma. Look at that. Very nice. Very soft and beautiful. All right. Tell us a little bit about what you thought about using well, first, what would you typically paint with? Do you typically use a limited palette, or do you just kind of pick your colors each painting, or?
No, I do or was doing what you said you were doing a long time ago, putting out, 20 paints on the palette and never really, constricting myself. So this was very relaxing.
Very nice. Yeah, it's so tempting, right? We own all these colors. We may as well use them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like all of you. When we go to the paint shop, to the art supply store, it is kids in a candy shop, right? We just,
Right.
oh, this one's beautiful. Oh, this will make magical paintings and everything else. So I own hundreds of colors, but I
Right.
still mostly, for the most part, use my limited palette, and hopefully you will find a benefit to it just in being able to control the colors a little bit, understand the colors, and then you can expand on those colors because you have a foundational understanding.
Yeah, it
makes
actually
sense.
narrows my focus.
Yeah, that's true too. And just being able to replicate and reproduce colors is such a blessing,
Yeah.
because inevitably we never mix enough of each color, right? So yeah, so you said it was relaxing and that it helped kind of control your goals or what you were looking at in this painting.
Right.
Did you enjoy it? Did you?
I loved it. Yeah. No, I was very surprised at how well I took to it, because I wasn't thinking that I could enjoy such a small palette.
Mhm.
And it turned out to be different than what I thought it was going to be.
And why is that? What was different about it?
It was easier,
Yeah.
when you set out to put out 20 tubes of paint on your palette, and then you're constantly trying to, oh, should I use this? Should I use that? It took away all that questioning and made it more, this is what you've got, use what you've got, and it made it easier.
I love that. Perfect. Those are exactly what I want you all to say to me. No, I'm just kidding. But it is partly what I'm hoping you will have gathered. And, we're going to talk about why even move on from these colors? Why is this not enough? And in truth, it is. And some truly amazing painters, I mean, some of the best in the United States, use a very limited palette, or one red, one yellow, one blue. They all have different, slightly different colors, whichever, some are using Prussian blue, some are using, whatever blue they choose, different reds, some prefer like the, in a warm red or a cooler red. Anyways, so, but it's amazing what you can do. My main thing that I learned from it, well, the two main things was how much easier it was to harmonize colors.
Mhm,
How everything felt like it existed in the same world.
mhm.
And then what was the second thing? A harmony. And just how much I could get, how many colors I could get. But more importantly than that was that colors didn't need to be exactly like they were in the photos, or even if I was plein air painting, they didn't need to be exactly like what I was seeing. I didn't need to match colors exactly. Close enough was often good enough, or and sometimes better, because again, I had that innate harmony. So my colors weren't jumping all over the place. I didn't have bright green all of a sudden in a
Mhm.
fall scene or something like that. So anyways, very nice. Let's look at your other one really quickly here. Here. Wow. That one looks like that's like a poem of a painting.
A what? A poem?
Poem, like it's just so limited.
Oh,
And you know what I mean? It's really like a poem of just 20 words versus, a whole essay about the scene. So yeah, tell me a little bit about your thoughts and feelings here. You got a little more whimsical and expressionistic with your brushstrokes. I can see
yeah.
that.
I felt like I was going more abstract,
Yeah.
but I was just feeling like, okay, that's what I want to do, and there's no point in not trying it. So I usually don't paint like that. I don't like the middle. I should have left more sky, but yeah, the colors kind of are relaxing and pleasing, and it's just a totally different palette for me. I'm very into bright, loud, fantastical colors. That's
Good.
my,
And the good
yeah,
news is
that's what
we're
I
going
go
to
towards.
get back to that. I want you to be happy and comfortable, but I really am proud of you for taking on this challenge. And I think it was quite effective. I think it's interesting. It's, there's no red in the picture. So, getting a real warm, we just end up with kind of a muddy ocean scene
Yeah.
here. But,
Yeah.
it works. It still reads well because you don't have red. These become reddish in our mind, and that, our
Right.
brain does amazing and interesting things. You didn't have blue, but these all of a sudden start to appear more blue to the viewer. So anyways, fully experimental.
Mhm.
Fully something you never have to do again, Carol, if you prefer color.
No, I love it. I want to do it again.
Oh, good. Well, I really appreciate it. And what I think was so interesting is that by taking away color, what did you do? You started experimenting with brush work, and
Right.
you took it. It's like, a blind person
Free. I felt freer.
way, or has develops a more keen taste. So by taking away one thing, you extrapolated on another.
Yeah,
So
that
for
was
those,
fun.
yeah, for those of you who are maybe interested in getting more interesting brushwork and expanding on that, maybe by taking away one or two elements of painting, you are able to experiment and express yourself more in that way. Because if you're thinking about all things all the time,
Yeah,
painting is just too much, right?
yeah.
My good buddy Scott Gallatley, who is a really wonderful color teacher, if you ever get an opportunity to take a class from him, he taught one of my very favorite classes I ever took, was abstracting the landscape. And he just said something so profound to me at the very, very beginning of class. And I think it may have been a throwaway line for him, but it really affected me, was the abstraction is simply taking away elements of painting.
Mhm.
It's, you're taking away objectivity, you know, the whole making something look like something, or
Yeah.
you're taking away, you know, the use of perspective and depth and flattening objects. Whatever it is, you're just taking a few things away. And so what I took from that was, oh, if I really want to focus on color, you know, just even if it's a small thumbnail, you know, just to see if these colors work together before I start putting them onto a big painting, I will oftentimes do little abstract paintings because I can just only worry about color.
Mhm.
If that makes sense, color and temperature. Or if I want to just see if a design is going to work, but I don't want to worry about every branch and tree and the mountains and the clouds, I can simply block those shapes into big, you know, you've probably done that doing thumbnail sketches. But by just worrying about these big shapes and keeping them super abstract, I can see if they balance and have movement and everything else. So anyways, I really like that. And I can sense some of that going on in this painting, Carol. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, Diane, you are here?
Yes,
There you are. Great. Which one would you like to talk about here? You've got, let's go ahead and talk about your strong colors first here.
okay.
So from France. All right, I can see it. I can picture Monet painting
Yeah.
these willows.
It's a little mill stream that was by our, where we were staying in August when we were there. And I just did a, you know, kind of, both of them are 8x10 real quick. And this one, of course, was fairly easy because I just used ultramarine blue, and I used that Venetian red, which I really liked. I haven't used that in a landscape before. And then Hansa yellow light, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so a difficult palette. I actually think that may be the other painting that you're talking about. I think those colors may be the ones in this one.
Yeah, I use Payne's gray and Naples yellow light and the
Oh,
Venetian red.
okay. So you used an interesting palette in both of them. Okay.
Yeah, really.
'Cause you used a subdued yellow. Oh yeah, Hansa yellow light. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, great. So what did you, I could read a little bit about what you wrote there, but tell us quickly what were your thoughts about doing both of these kind of back to back, and what diverse, interesting results you had?
Well, the first one I just painted it really quickly because I didn't think it was anything very exciting with the color. But the second one was really, it kind of blew my mind because I was using Payne's gray, which has, I use Payne's gray violet, and boy, did I have a hard time getting any color because
Right.
I couldn't get any green. The Naples
Yeah.
yellow light and the Payne's gray did not make a green. I just had to go with it. Actually, in real life, it looks a little bit more greenish than it does on there. But yeah, it was really, it was a challenge, I'll say that.
Yeah, well, that's a fun experiment. Can you tell me why you think, or if anybody else wants to chime in, why you were not able to get any green when you use a Payne's gray violet?
Well, violet and Naples just make gray.
Well, they're also going to just make reddish gray.
And wouldn't
Yeah.
the yellow then just null the violet color in the paint gray and make it brown?
Exactly right. So
Right.
the Naples is going to be the opposite of that kind of purpley gray color even though they're
Right.
both grayed down, and it just neutralizes it. So it probably in effect makes it appear a little more blue when you mix all three colors together, or the
Right.
Naples violet with the yellow.
Well,
Yeah,
it was a challenge, but I was almost ready to stop and get my real Payne's gray out so I could actually make more color. But then I thought, no, I'm going to really force myself to do this all the way through with this crazy setup. So I did it. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't look anything like your reference photo as far as color,
No.
what you remember. But if you were just to walk by this, sitting on a wall somewhere, I think there's just such a nice harmony to it.
Mhm.
Again, it's a real battle if you're trying to replicate anything. But if you're
Yeah.
just using your photo as design elements and
Mhm.
values and big shapes, pretty nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I think I'm going to try it again with some other colors.
Yeah, good. I think that you set yourself up for a very much of a challenge with
But
those colors.
that's why I'm taking this class.
Good challenges and learning what not to do, possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, every painting has something to teach us. We want them all to work out, and I'm not saying it didn't work out, but it maybe just didn't do exactly what you were saying. So
Mhm.
we're wanting. Julie, are you here? Yep,
Yes.
there you are. Great. All right, Julie, tell us a little bit about your experience painting a landscape.
Well, yeah, I haven't had much luck in the past painting landscapes, and I think you saw in my studio one really horrible example, and I think your father said it looked like Oriole Borealis.
Borealis, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I that was kind of rude of me. It's like making
No, it was true. It's true. I'm surprised I didn't have it hidden somewhere. I actually let somebody see it. It's a really bad painting. Because yeah, being subtle with color isn't something have been very good at. I like to paint those bright birds. I really like bright colors. And so this is, yeah, it's hard for me. So this was the first one I painted, and I went back and forth with it. I had it more subdued, and then I thought, no, I want to put more color in it. And then after I submitted it and looked at it, I went ahead and changed it. I didn't repaint. I didn't paint a whole new one. I just changed it. So the second painting that I submitted is this painting that I tried to calm it down a little bit.
Oh, that's really interesting. I totally thought this was the muted colors. That's interesting because it looks so much more brownish.
It's just maybe it's the way I took the picture too. I don't know. But no, it's the same painting. I just went in with I changed my blue, I just put more white basically in the same colors to lighten them.
All right.
But I might have also remixed the dark. I think I might have remixed all the colors, but
Very nice. And I commented, I really like how both of these turned out. Nice restraint and control. And then you said, now I'm wondering if we're restraint and control or opposite of loose. I think they are, and maybe I just need to accept this is the way I paint.
yeah,
So
I've been struggling with that too, just not being a loose painter. And when I try to be a loose painter, then I end up not liking what I do. And then I go back to like more detailed stuff.
Me
And then
too.
Sure, and I think you'll find your place in that, but actually I was referring strictly to the colors.
okay.
When I think about loose painting, I'm thinking generally about the brushwork and kind of the energy of the brushwork. But in this, I actually meant the restraint and control within the colors, that you have these nice muted blues and they're almost kind of grayed down, and your yellows are, nothing's out of the tube here. None of your colors are just super, super, super bright. You took this high chroma colors and then grayed them all down. And that's what I actually meant. I think if we took a survey of the class and had everybody vote, is this a tight painting or a loose painting? I think it would probably be about a 50-50 split. And I think there's some elements of it that feel a little tighter and a little more
Yeah.
controlled, and then other areas that are just nice and poetic and loose. And I think that will come. I hesitate to have students really push, like stylistically, how they apply their paint too fast into their painting process, because I think a lot of that comes naturally. It's almost like a
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I stopped trying to paint loose. Like I said, I feel like whatever my style is, it's kind of recognizable. When you look at my paintings, there is something, I don't even know what it is, but there's a similarity, and I'm sure that that's going to evolve and change as I grow as a painter.
Exactly. It really will. And I'll definitely have hints and clues and ways that, for those of you, I think there was like 3 or 4 of you that mentioned when we did our introductions that they did want to get looser. And we will definitely talk about that. And there's times I try to be loose in parts of my paintings and tighter in parts of my paintings, and then almost just washed out and really soft edge. So I try to use a whole bunch of everything here. All right. Did I see Kathy? I don't.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Good. Yep. down the-
Sorry, I'm
No, you're fine.
logging late on Wednesdays.
Oh, beautiful picture. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. So
Okay.
this is not the one I did for class. This is an older one that I have struggled with the sky for like 6 months, and I'm tired of struggling. So I wanted to see if you had any good feedback. The other one is the one I did this week with the limited palette.
Okay, great. Well, let's quickly go over this. I think you have some beautiful colors. Can you tell me what kind of a palette you're using on this painting?
Oh my gosh, it's been so long, and I think I've changed it 10,000 times.
Sure.
I'm
Don't worry.
probably using alizarin and ultramarine and I'm not sure which yellow,
And are
but
you,
it's probably, that sky's probably got 15,000 layers on it. It's like I've done it so many times and hated it and redone it.
all right, well, I appreciate the struggle. So typically when you paint, tell me a little bit about yourself here. Are you like Carol is and like I was and stuff, where you just squeeze out a little bit of all the colors you got, or do you squeeze out the same colors each time you paint, or different colors, or
I
what's your...
usually look at the kind of dominant colors I'll be using, and we'll put probably 3 or 4 colors out and then add if I'm not satisfied.
Okay, great. So that is going to feed in perfectly with what I'm going to be teaching today and next week about the split primary palette. Is oftentimes I will have my set colors just because I understand them. I can basically make every color from them. I can make, I don't know what it is. I can't remember what the math was, but like 30,000 colors, some stupid
Mhm.
number. And then like if I was painting this scene, I might go, well, you know what? A little yellow ochre is not going to hurt because I got all that sand, or a little bit of, I don't know, whatever. I could choose another color, maybe Payne's Gray for the mountains. And that would be my guest color. But I specifically think of that color as a color I could make, but I'm using it as a shortcut. I'm just saving myself a little bit of work, right? But a lot of times that little bit of work actually gets me in trouble because
Exactly.
I need to figure out how that color behaves with all of my normal colors.
Mhm.
So anyways, great. I need to ask you one more question, if I may, about this scene. I see this purple thing here,
Mhm.
purpley reddish, and then I see a yellow stripe, and then I see a grayish here. Before you answer, when I first looked at this, I read this as a mountain hillside that was a little bit closer, and then this blue, big blue gray shape here as a mountain that was further back than this. And I didn't quite understand what this stripe of yellow might be. So then that led me to go, wait, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Maybe this is actually a cloud. And this is a stripe of the sky showing underneath the cloud. And then that led me to question, well, if this is a cloud, is this actually a cloud? And it's just a very, very flat desert scene.
It's
So
actually
this
the
part was
beach.
confusing, huh?
It's a beach. It's dunes.
So are there mountains back there?
No, it's the beach. It's Texas coast. It's the sand dunes. It's like the low country where you see kind of sandbars and water. And so those are clouds back there.
So the ocean or whatever, the water would be back here.
Yeah, it's yeah, it more like canals and, you know, low water areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're confused really makes me go, oh no.
Just a quick hands up. Did anybody else read this as a hill?
Yes.
I thought it was the hill. Yeah. a
Yeah.
mountain.
Anybody read this as a hill?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I
So
think it looks beautiful as hills. I'd go with hills on it.
No, it's the coast. It's got to be clouds, but it was just the way the sun was setting. It was like these bands of colors
Yeah.
across. I mean, I don't even know if they were clouds. So it was just the horizon.
So that is so, I mean, that's the thing, right? When we work from either directly from nature or from photos, we want to just replicate. But a lot of times what we're replicating doesn't read right in a painting. Inevitably, in all of my classes, I will have a student who, look at these crazy, crazy clouds. They look like UFOs. Or look at this tree. It looks like a old man bending down and picking up a cat. And you're just like, well, that's an amazing photo. But when we take these things that are so particular and try to do them as a painting, sometimes they just don't read. So then we have to take our artistic license, Kathleen, and say, okay, well, if these somewhat look like hills and I don't want them to, what can I do? Can I break them up? Could I add a band of light underneath them? Could I, because this is gorgeous. I think everybody would agree that this part of your sky is just fantastic. And I imagine that this is what keeps you fighting. You look at this and you're like, it's not bad. I got to keep going. There's something here. But I think what's destroying it, unfortunately, is your middle area. I would just break this up. I know
That's
it
an
looks like
easy
that, but
fix, I think.
just break those up and make it
Okay.
look more like up here and more interesting. And I think you're going to be off to the races.
Okay.
Another
perfect.
thing is I can tell that you are painting from a photo, a singular photo,
Mhm.
because you have this corner right here. This is the sidewalk or the edge of the road or whatever.
Yeah,
else.
it's a boardwalk where you look out over the dunes.
Yeah, generally as a rule, if it's that little, it's almost like a photo bomb, when you're taking a selfie and somebody sticks their head in there.
Uh-huh.
It kind of tells you where you are. It kind of gives an element. But you know what? I want you to be an adventurer, Kathleen. When I'm looking at your paintings, I want to think that you've walked out into these sand dunes and you're, out there in nature and not just sitting on the sidewalk a little bit. So a lot of times I will take those elements out. Like, again, a lot of times I'll have students who will simply put the fence posts right here.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even bother walking up and past the fence post and getting it out of the scene. Anyways, I find it a little bit jarring.
It's interesting you said that because it wasn't in there. My original one, I took it out and then I thought it's too boring. So I put it back in.
Sure, and you can use this as a design element, but maybe what if it was bushes or something else? And again, I'm not right. Everything I tell you in my feedback and critique is not right. You could completely, have the next instructor come in, or you could ask Lisa or Michelle or Julie, and they would completely disagree with me. Go, you know what? I love this design element because look what it does. It comes up here, and then that leads to this angle and that angle. You know what I mean? So I'm not right or wrong. It's just me personally. I don't generally, if there's just going to be a touch of a human element like that off in a weird corner, I will take it off. Like
Okay.
if you had a little house back here, something that could be a focal point, then yeah, that could work. Or some fence posts that lead you in, maybe they go along this line, things like that. But anyways, it's a beautiful painting. There's so much in here that's really nice. I think your color sense, especially for not even knowing what colors you're using, and that you've retained as much harmony as you have, is really nice. I think if I just kept picking up brand new colors every time I got back to a painting, I would fly off the rails pretty quickly. So anyways, quite nice. Did that help? That
helps a whole lot. I think it's interesting that I was focused on the top part of the sky, so frustrated when I mean, the bottom part's an easy fix. So if the top looks great, then I'm really happy. I can fix that.
I love it. I would be super happy if I painted this. I think that's really, I love the, oh, I can't zoom in on, oh, maybe I can. I don't know. But I love the tops of these clouds, look so naturalistic and beautiful and soft.
Good.
Let's go
Makes
to your
me
other
happy.
one real quickly.
So I hope you bring it back when you changed it.
Thank you. Maybe I will. So the sky is similar because it was actually taken the same night. It's just a different location. These are the jetties and the ocean, and the sun was setting a little bit more, and I changed the theme of the color. It's not in the pinks, it's in the greens. The photo looks really green in person. There's a lot more blues in the left side and the bottom, which is the darkest area. I don't know why it looks this green, but it's green.
Sure. Yeah, it's always so weird. I mean, I swear I can take, like, without even moving my camera, 3 different pictures of my painting, and they will all 3 be different. And it's always so odd. So yeah, I appreciate that. And a lot of times it does take a little bit of explaining like that. You know, if you're using any kind of software or anything, you can sometimes manipulate that a little bit to bring back colors a little closer. Tell me about what was the limited palette. What was it? And
So this was ultramarine blue, cad yellow, cad red, and white.
perfect. Perfect. That's amazing how really it doesn't look, I mean, very little red in it. But you got a lot of nice color variation, quite beautiful. Really nice. I can tell we're going to see some really interesting brush work and different edge manipulation from you. You seem to be pretty natural at a lot of that. What did you think with working with a limited palette after going from kind of using whatever colors you want or you think you should use?
Like other people have said, it really reduces decision making, and that's really comfortable. And also trying to remember how you created a particular shade. Like if you're only looking at 3 or 4 colors, you know you created it somehow with what's on your palette, instead of guessing, oh, did I pick, you know, a tad of this color in there and a tad of this color.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the replication of color when you're coming back to paint and continue painting really helps to have a limited palette. I really wanted to cheat and use phthalo green. It was really hard, but I didn't. It looked okay.
Well, great. Well, going forward, you will be able to cheat a little more if you'd like, if you really. But I do kind of urge that you first try with the colors that you're given. And I think if there was phthalo green in here, it might be too punchy compared to these other colors. It might be too vibrant and kind of get away from you. A lot of times if I'm using like a phthalo green, I will, inevitably be mixing the cadmium red into it just to bring it, to control it.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I'm using a phthalo, either blue or green, I will actually include a cadmium orange on my palette. I rarely put cadmium orange on my palette. I'm thinking about experimenting with adding it more often, but I find that cadmium orange is the only way I can control the phthalo colors.
Okay. Well, yeah, I wasn't unhappy with working with the limited palette at all. It worked for this painting pretty easily. I could probably do the same painting with a more muted palette as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no, I'm sure that'd be beautiful.
So the sky on that one doesn't look like mountains to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
So I need to fix that too.
It doesn't as much though.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I guess I didn't really think of those as mountains in this instant, but it could because we just had that discussion. I don't know.
Well, and you're looking at, I guess, the water and the coast. It may make more sense that it's not.
So
Yeah.
One thing too is a lot of us that are here from Oregon, we have hills that go out to the ocean like that. So
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of just Texas. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree. I wondered if you did more values at the bottom and then maybe different lines, softer lines. It would towards the I think that's your horizon. The soften the lines, and then it would look more like clouds.
Yeah, I can see some work that I can do on that. And I love that we're from all over the country, because nobody down here would ever say it was a mountain or a hill, but other people reading it and looking at it differently, would be like, what's their environment?
Yeah, those famous Texas mountains.
Right.
Big Bend.
So
Great
thank
job.
you all for your
Yeah,
feedback.
well, I appreciate your doing that. It looks like we got quite a lot. You guys really submitted a lot of stuff. I need to take a break here and go get some more coffee and everything else. Is there anybody that would really urgently like to hear from me this week? Otherwise, what I'll do, because there's enough of us, I don't think I can critique all of us. I can already kind of tell by the screen that I might be losing a couple of you. And I find that if I critique for over an hour, it generally gets a little tough. If there's anybody that really has an urgent question, otherwise what I'll do is just kind of keep a note that next week I'll start with at Karen's name and start kind of critiquing and giving feedback that way. I think would be the fairest way. Kind of just.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm not sure
This
who's
is
talking.
Sandy.
And okay, Sandy.
I didn't get to do the interview or the introduction last week. But anyways, I was interested in learning more about the opaques and the transparents, how to use them in a picture, what's different, how you use them. And also anything like on, as you're doing your classes, if you got like some spare time in between, if you could talk about when your experiences of when you start entering plein air contests, things that somebody new should probably know to begin.
Yeah, absolutely. I can talk about all those things. Do you mind taking a minute and just kind of introducing yourself? Even though we can't see you, I don't know if
I can fix that, I think.
There you are.
Yeah, I just have it covered, so.
Well, all right. Well, thank you, Sandy. And I'm glad that you let us know we had you in the introduction. So yeah, I would love to know just a little bit about you, your history with painting, where you live and such things.
I live in Wisconsin, and I used to live out in California for about 14 years in San Luis Obispo County. And I've been doing oils on and off, but I don't stick with it for very long. So I might do it for like a couple weeks, and then 10 years later, do it for a couple more weeks. And
yeah.
and then the last in 2020, I think it was, or 2021, I took classes with Kathy Odom. So with her Zoom classes. I don't know if you've done plein air competitions with her or not, if you've met her.
I've met her. We've talked, and we've at the plein air convention and different things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think, we've crossed paths other places, but yeah. Oh, we show in the same gallery, I believe, in outside of Seattle. Yeah, great. I'm sure she's fantastic. She's very energetic, entertaining, and her husband's always with her too. He's like her assistant, am I right?
Yep.
He's a pretty great guy. I've talked to him probably more. But great. And so you said that you are interested in doing some plein air events. Quick raise of hands. Who is interested in doing either plein air or even maybe getting into some of the plein air kind of competitions or events, I should call them. I hate the word competitions when it comes to art, even though they are prizes and awards. And it's fun to win, but it's always weird. Anyways, but they're very worthwhile because you get to rub elbows with other like-minded people and learn from people, just above your skill level. And it's there's something about the challenge of it that's just daunting and rewarding and fantastic. So anyways, I suggest everybody gets out and paints plein air, puts together a little kit and gets outside, or, tonight or after class, I'm driving back to the coast for a couple more days. And I will definitely be taking a bigger paint set because we have an awesome view and a covered area, so I can paint in the rain. And there's just something different. I mean, it's wonderful to sit and watch the sunset. It's wonderful to sit and watch the waves. It's wonderful to whatever it is. But once you pull out your paints and really start to observe, it just inevitably takes it to a whole different level of appreciation and confusion and all of it. It's one of the most rewarding and frustrating experiences I have in my life is plein air painting. So anyways, I suggest everybody tries it, realizing how very difficult. Shelley, you and I did some plein air together a number of years ago. I think Michelle, you and I painted together, and yeah, it's for anybody who's painted outdoors, it is tough. It's just stimuli overload, and darn clouds just won't sit still, and the bugs start biting, and all the different things. But
yeah, I have one of my plein air ones that I did from last year on there. Yeah, that's on my way to work every day.
What a complicated scene.
Yeah, it was like first one in like 5 years. So
Wow.
first time ever doing trucks. So
yeah, I look at this and I'm like, I am very intimidated by even attempting such a thing. Again, I often will try to avoid man-made objects, but that's just me. And I know that a lot of plein air painters really go towards the man-made objects, and very nice, very interesting and complex. Lots of straight lines, which is something that's always tough when you're plein air painting. So tell me, if you don't mind, do you guys mind if we spend a couple minutes talking about plein air? I think almost everybody raised their hand. Let's do 5 minutes of talking about plein air, and then we'll take a break. Is that okay?
yep.
All right. So Sandy, tell me a little bit about what your questions are as far as plein air painting.
Oh, just what your experiences were when you first started. I mean, I've read up about some of the ones that they have around here, that you need to get your canvas stamped on the back, and you have limits of where you can do your paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else that a person should need to know?
Well, so first off, you're probably going to have to get out by yourself and build up a tiny bit of a portfolio just to get in. Unless it's a wide open, most of them you have to get juried into even competing or being allowed into it.
Okay,
or some of them will have kind of a more professional level and then an open category where anybody can join. Go ahead.
There's a few around here where anybody can enter. So
okay, well, that's a great way to start. I do still suggest you get out and practice and, really kind of work out some of the major kinks. I'm always amazed how many people get out to plein air paint for the first time in a big group and haven't even set up their easel for the first time. Like it's might even still be in the cardboard box.
right.
Or, so even just setting up in your backyard. Another thing I do with each one of my kits is I will literally set it up and tear it down like 4 or 5 times. And even timing myself, because a lot of times it is a matter of speed. You want to get out there, and you also, the more times you set up and tear down, you'll kind of learn like, oh, you know what, a bigger backpack, just so I'm not trying to really jam everything in there, is worth it. Or I don't need such a big, so much equipment. Maybe I can use just simply the limited palette and get away with it. And, I don't have to carry so much weight with me. Weight is a big issue, especially if you're going to be hiking in anywhere. But generally, for most of my plein air painting, it's kind of like car camping, where it's just as far as I can drag my cooler. I paint with some people who bring mats, like the styrofoam mats, out with them to stand on because their feet get really sore, and that really limits them. Some people need to sit when they paint. I pretty much can only stand when I paint. That's just whatever. It's just what I'm used to and what I like to do. some big things that will really help make plein air painting a little easier is not having your canvas in direct light. It's amazing what a difference that will make. You want if you can find shade and paint in the shade, huge difference. Your painting will be much less dark. I prefer when I'm plein air painting to paint on panels and not on stretched canvas. Stretched canvas lets light in from the back, which will make it hard. And also stretched canvas has a little more of a propensity to want to become a kite when a little bit of wind comes along.
So if you're painting in the sun, how do you give yourself shade without making it a kite?
Well, yeah, I do have umbrellas. I don't like the ones that connect to my easel. I prefer the ones that I jam into the ground. I don't know, 5'10.5". So it's hard for me to find an umbrella that's I'm not kind of half ducked up under. But I prefer, yeah, the long kind of spike style. Also, I just it's, sometimes you'll suffer and you'll stand out in the sun or in the rain to catch a scene that's so important, but mostly a lot of times I will literally look for where's a shady spot, or just be aware of, how the light is changing. Am I going to be in shade, and am I going to have to move in a half hour to get back into the shade? It makes a big difference. Getting sunburned or getting cooked or having my panel in the light or even my palette in the light really affects things. I try to keep my palette and my surface that I'm painting on in pretty much the same light. Otherwise, it's really hard to mix your colors. So if you have a flat palette and it's getting hit by noon light, but you're able to keep your panel, which is upright, in more of a shade, trying to mix the colors and get them to look the same from the palette to the panel is really difficult. Also, I know that the light outdoors, even in the shade, is much stronger than in any gallery or especially in my house. So I know that inevitably my plein air painting is going to be a little bit darker when I get it inside. And oftentimes way darker when I get it inside. So you will see me oftentimes pushing my values a little bit lighter, but being wary not to let them get chalky, meaning too much white for me. Is this making sense, you guys? I see a couple blank faces of what the heck is he talking about?
It's all true.
It's all true. It's all struggle. Enjoy the
It's all
struggle.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will talk a little bit as we are going along in this class too, just about how I build up a painting. If you were able to watch the videos, you saw that I laid in my darks first, even though those were clouds. But in plein air painting, it's really quite important for me to knock in a couple of strong, dark, usually in the ground elements, to just cement things, to give them their place. And then I can build up onto those. But, as I said, things are moving, things are changing. Generally, about an hour is about as long as I give a plein air painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's quick.
If it's sunrise and sunset, it's about 15 to 20 minits of actual color time.
Okay, so then I'll have to work on speeding up my times then.
Sure. And that's just when you're really attacking it. You can always kind of keep, modifying and things. But if you're really actually trying to capture the sunset or the sunrise, I mean, it's changing minute by minute by minute. So you have to make decisions, and you have to let those decisions sit. You know what I mean? Like if you just keep chasing clouds on a windy day on a sunset, you will go mad. It's just literally changing. I mean, it's so crazy when you look at your surface and you're painting a little bit and you look back up and you're like, wait, it's a completely different scene. So yeah, it's a matter of making some decisions. It's a matter of making some things up. It's a matter of grabbing what's important and getting rid of what's not. A lot of design work, a lot of decision making. One of my favorite sayings both in my studio, but especially when I'm out plein air painting. And those people that have been with me have heard me say this: if it's not helping, it's hurting.
Mm,
When in doubt, what do I say?
Take it out.
leave it out. Yeah.
Not helping, it's hurting. So oftentimes, you know, like a fence post right in the middle of the scene, or a, you know, you might have a beautiful barn with a new house built beside it. You know what? Pick your scene. It just doesn't look that great oftentimes to have these strong conflicting things, unless it's a metaphor for old and new, and you know what story you're trying to tell. But figure out what's your focus. Why did you stop? What attracted you to this scene? Was it colors? Was it subject? Was it mood? Was it atmosphere? Was it the design? Was it the perspective? What was it? And again, I will oftentimes have my students, especially in my plein air classes, write a quick note. And what I compare it to is when we're on a vacation, or we're on a trip, or we're out painting plein air, and we snap off 30 pictures and we get back, you know, and you're so excited, right? Oh my gosh, each one of these is a painting. I can't wait to get back to the studio. And then you get back to the studio and maybe one of them's good and you have 29. You're like, why did I take this photo? Right? Happens to all of us. And it's important that we have that note of what was it? Was I trying to capture just the specific crest of this wave? Was it the light on the wave? Was it the energy of the wave? Right? So it's important when you go out plein air painting, even more so, to pick a thing and stick with it, and remember that you have your focal point, or as I like to say, your prima donna, and everybody else is a supporting character. Everybody else is a supporting cast. If you have multiple prima donnas, they're gonna fight. All right, that makes sense?
Yep.
Yes.
And Sandy, please let me know, you know, get out there, paint a couple times if the weather behaves and you're able to, and come back and ask more questions. And that goes for all of you. I definitely don't mind speaking about plein air painting. It's one of my, like I said, my most favorite things and my most frustrating things I do.
Yeah, I won't be able to get out now because it's winter and it's cold.
Yeah, no, a little tough. That's what I was, when I go back out to the coast, I may paint from the big window. And I'm like, I'm gonna call it almost plein air. You know, something, I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a bit of a break. I've got a message I need to email my daughter, and then I'm gonna get some coffee. And so let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Is that okay with you guys? 10:45 we'll return.
Yep.
And we'll get to the easel. And I appreciate you guys not getting upset that I wasn't able to get to everybody. It's just, we got a lot of students and a lot of beautiful work. And just, if I don't get to you in after a week or two, please remind me. I won't, I want to talk to everybody and help everybody. And also the other thing is, please go through and talk to each other, write on each other's paint, underneath each other's paintings. There's rooms for comments. So great. I'm going to go ahead and.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's take a break. All right, and please remind me to start the recording when we come back.